Hello, everybody. Ryan Carpenter here with No BS Golf, brought to you by P45 Knuckle Down Golf. That's right. Right here in Warner Robins, Houston County, Georgia. We got everything you need for your golfing needs. That's right. Over there at the golf pub, last night, raining, dark, cold. Don't matter what's going on. We got the job done. We didn't just get the job done. We did a lot. It was a great session, and that's what it's all about. And we are moving forward. Players advancing, starting to get to new levels of understanding and accomplishment all at the same time. It's a estimate. I don't know, players in about less than number 18 now or so, and we've come a long way, which is great. And you just got to keep going, and we're talking about expanding the horizon and thinking towards the future about, well, maybe I got new goals in mind at this stage. So that's the kind of stuff that makes this all worthwhile. But lots of topics also. I've been all over the place. There's so many things here and there. But real quick, I may do a mini version. But this time of the year, lessons. So www.p45knuckledowngolf.com. All the information there. We got lesson sale going on up until Christmas Eve. That now's the time. We discussed this last night. I would go through an entire year at Golf Tech with basically no lesson sales at all, except for in the lesson sale month. And that was it. And my entire year was based off that because students just learned they could put in their books all their lessons for the year. And bam, we're off to the races. And you don't have to worry about it all year long. So same thing. We got things available to players right now. Not only the lesson sales, but the evaluation lesson at 50% off. That's how you get started. You have to have that lesson in order to know what you're going to need to do in order to achieve your goals, like so many of these players are doing right now. And in conjunction with that, and my partners, www.thegolfpub.com. They are the provider of the space, the facility that allows us to do all this great work when it's dark, cold, rainy, too hot, whatever, doesn't matter, time of day, you name it. Golf course is filled because it's a tournament. Every reason under the book. We ain't got no reason whatsoever. We can go to the pub anytime we want to. So that being said, one of the most important parts of the process, and we're going to talk a little process today, is the proper environment to learn from, less distractions, focused development, and they have memberships available so that you're not paying, the 50, whatever it is, 50 per hour to use the facility. You get a membership and you just go up there 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a week, and all of a sudden you're getting it for like $10 a hit. So anyways, that being said, it's gift card season. So I have gift cards for any and all of those things. Nice little packaging you can send off to whoever it may be. So you got that person in your life, golfer, and they want to get better and they don't have the slightest clue how to do it. That's my job. And here we go. We get all the stuff we need. We bring them down to the golf pub. There you go. 478-230-3324 to contact me. We can do anything you want on this card. We can get you a gift card. The best thing is the evaluation lesson for players that are already taking lessons. The best thing is you can get the, membership form at the pub, or you could get like the Swing Vest membership, which is part of their development process. You could buy them a new wedge and we can get it fit right. Like there's all kinds of ways to go about this. All you got to do is contact me. I'll figure it out. So what's on the horizon here? What do we got going on? Today's a little bit of a slower day, so I'm working on a lot of back things and came across all kinds of different, things popping up here in the old world of the internet. It's wild, right? But did a review little deal. Ping has a great little, I guess you call it podcast. And they've always been in conjunction with a fella named Joe Mayo. He's the guy that pretty much exposed it all, to be honest. And that leads me to the PGA conversation for a little bit too. But anyhow, I put it out there in the nets last night because it's true. The current PGA teaching manual is incorrect. It's about 150,000 years old, and it was based off a lot of data from the past, which was okay and all, but TrackMan came along and it proved a whole lot of stuff, and they haven't updated that, and he called him out for it, and for a good reason. It should be. The PGA of America has completely let go of dropped the ball when it comes to teaching golf, which is why all this exists now today. And so anyhow, was going deeper and talking more in depth and understanding, so much more about ball flight that just the average player for sure does not possess that information and knowledge. And I'll take it a step further. Unfortunately, most instructors don't have it either or know it. And so be careful where you get your info, folks. But it's important because we need to understand and develop a better sense. And that's a big key in phases 2 and 3 of this development process that I walk players through that I've done for 20 years now, is we start to get embedded into a sense of control and command beyond the basics of fundamental motion. So we have fundamental motion. You've got your absolutes and your facts, and you've got your fundamental motions that are involved with that. Then you have the sequence of actions and how that's supposed to line up to make it all work. And then you got your details. Then you got your specifics that you dive into for each of those. Then you start working more course, and that came into play, how to talk about slopes and plays and adjustments and so on. And then you've got the final real kind of push, what I call kind of the big push to the end, which is really getting into understanding high-level control, high-level detail, working within the impact interval, within the tiny amount of parameters of movement that we're actually supposed to be dealing with. And so whether it's, and I found this one here, and this is a good one, just a good example of the many where there's more to this than what's going on in the typical kind of thought process of the player out there, unfortunately. And Jared, he hit on a good point again that he went over with him and Hovland, all stuff they did and didn't do. Keyword didn't do. And players trying to make something happen, doing so on and so forth, and thinking they're doing it, not doing it, and then all of a sudden it's so many hundreds to 1,000 shots later, and they start trying to come up with their own ways of making something, and now we're really off to the races of, yikes. So you need a healthy eye to make sure not only that maybe you need to do something better, but if you're doing it well, to have a little bit of a dialogue saying, great, do it more, good. So almost like that backup sense, if you will. Backing up a player is just as important as developing a player. So, the role that's played in this, if it's done really well, in my opinion, is that, again, we should be coaches more than we are teachers. Teaching's easy, first of all. Teaching is just deciding, gotta learn this, gotta learn that. Okay, so on and so forth. But then the coaching aspect is taking players through that process, getting them to the point where they actually truly own and develop those things for themselves into their incorporated actions and movements and so on and so forth. But then being able to really own it and play with it and move on. And so then there's the point where it's also more like, hey, you know what, this isn't bad. Maybe try a little tiny fraction of this. Not massive. And all of a sudden, bam, ball flight, exactly what we wanted. So, but there's a lot to it. And so that's where this one comes into play. I don't know. I was hoping I could find an easy way. It might not be an easy way to put close, maybe. Oh, boy. Hey, there we go. So spin rates and vertical strike location. And you can just look. Perfect lie, tight lie, and all the spin configuration possible based off that. Isn't that crazy? Lots of numbers spitting right there, right? And so let's talk about that from a short game standpoint alone. Obviously, from a long range, it's going to completely change trajectory and how it hits the green, and then how it interacts, and then you start talking about green complexes, and you see on the GPS is the little highlighted pinks and blues and yellows and greens and stuff. And well, we've got to, in theory, assume that we've got that perfect spin coming off the face at an exact amount every time. And I got news for you. Go look at the wear spots of wedges. It just ain't true, right? So you've got to really get to a point of being able to dial in and think in terms of, okay, if I, solid strike A, what is the detailed definition of a solid strike? That's important. There's an interval of time, and there's a lot of information exchange within that interval of time based off the details. And we're talking, again, 3-dimensional, okay? I know on a camera it's still going to be 2-dimensional technically, but it's just the rendering of a 3-dimensional atmosphere, right? And so how clubheady moving through, down and up and over and around and through and forward and fade and open and blah, blah, blah. The combination of all that, okay? Numerous possible outputs. And so doing things which counteract what most players are doing, unfortunately, a great one is shoulder tilt. It's probably my favorite one of all time because at impact or even through impact for a tour pro, the average degree, so tilting, if you're standing tall on your shoulder level and you drop your right shoulder down or say your left shoulder down, whichever one you want to call it, that's tilting. And through the ball, the average is, 38 or 48, degrees. And so 48 degrees of tilted action is at first, especially with players when they first walk through the door, they're, mind-boggling type of action and numbers because they don't want to do it. Why? They're early releasers. They're going to stick the club so far on the ground, it ain't never going to happen. But, this is, again, I don't know if it'll show up. I'll do my best here, but look at the degree in which that right shoulder is down for this player coming through the golf ball. Some weird numbers up there. Anyways, and I'll put some stuff out there. You can take a look at it later. But that's where the sequence and movements have to coexist together to make this all come together. And I probably worked on this 3 different times with 3 different players this week alone. So, yes, the right shoulder is supposed to drop massively in the golf swing. Massively. Way beyond what anyone thinks at first, even when we start talking real numbers and real movements. But in order to get that to work, there's a combination of events and things that have to come to place. So, anyways, proper movement, proper development, understanding the reality of ball flight. Not from the old Gary Wyron. I'm sorry, Gary, but you're wrong, and it ain't your fault because it's like, my God, 60, 70 damn years ago. Look. And that's the problem. Well, it's a prime example of the problem with a bureaucracy type setup when you got something like PGA rolling around. It's an association by basic definition, right? But the reality is that it's gotten so big and there's a lot of the people that are in the power are a select few. They're not even, that's why it's bureaucracy. They're not even elected really tight. They kind of just pat each other on the asses all the time and tell each other, oh, you get to do it this time. And they own a large portion of the golf community at the high level. So, when you start talking about things like Ryder Cups and whatnot and the PGA Championship. And so they've got control of a hell of a lot of money and they know it. And then there's a lot of power forces at play, all this live stuff and everything else that's going on in the world. They're a part of it. And then they sit there and they get all this money coming in. I don't even know what it is, 400 plus somehow damn dollars a year from the members. I don't even think they get the lesson book no more, from what I can tell. And I'm just looking at them like, well, what are you getting out of this? Now I get it. I posted this. If you're going to be a GM, a head pro, maybe even a director of golf, not as much anymore, to be honest. But a prime position at a prime location or general location that thinks they need it. It's not true. I've got one of the absolute hands down best general managers at a golf course in the United States of America. He is absolutely phenomenal what he does. He is not a PGA member. He has never been in the PGA. He wasn't even a damn golf professional, for crying out loud. But he knows what the hell he's doing. He does a great damn job. So to tell me or anyone else that you got to go in and get that logo just to do a great job, that's complete BS, folks. And the PGA knows it. And they lit down the entire association a long time ago with this crap. They installed a crappy program to try to quote unquote develop people, and they haven't really done anything with it worth a crap in a long time. And then they sit there and they take in your money, and we're all sitting here going, what are we getting out of this? So, and, I posted a little image of another comment related to that. I'm glad that some of these players, I was calling this crap out 20 years ago, and nobody liked it. That's fine. I really could care less, to be honest. But it's good to see that a lot of the other fellows out there, and of course, most of us coming from the teaching side because we're a different group of people. Not all, some are members, but many of them are not. And so that's the thing. Knowledge, education, knowing, which is why I haven't stopped. I actually, it's something I saw the other day. I need to go sign up for another seminar I want to take for high level learning. And so, long story short, I guess, just because you kind of ran on there. I'm sorry, I tend to do that. But, the thing is this, look, we're doing things at the golf pub right now that are not being done anywhere else in this area. I can tell you that right now. And you would have to go to pretty much like Atlanta, the coast, to even come close. But even at that realm, there is a large gap and misunderstanding of so many things when it comes to this game. So I'll leave it to this way. The evaluation lesson alone is basically designed to help you kind of get exposed to maybe some understanding of stuff that you may think. Brand new student the other day, and what we came to realize was like the idea that had been planted in the brain for so long of keeping your head still, crap, total garbage, by the way, had completely organized his system of movements, which were some good movements going on, but they were altering his ability to apply these movements, and that was grossly affecting, his output. And so, it's and Mayo just put up another one the other day, a great one about short game and how players kind of do this little thing. And so many people were like, no way. And it's like, well, proof is in the pudding, and he don't mess around with that stuff. He finds the proof before he ever talks. So anyhow, here's what I'm going to tell you where we're at with this right now. We got a lot of great players going through this process and learning a lot of great stuff. I know there's so many of you out there. And so like, subscribe, share, of course, always, if you're listening and watching, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I need to get better at cutting these down. I get it. That's the problem. You can't cut down good information and make it valid. I'm not going to come on here and jumping around screaming and yelling in 52 seconds. Fix your game in 5 swing. Like, that is not how it's done. It just is not. And anyone claiming that it is, well, they're selling you something. Let's put it that way. I had this conversation last night. The best part about being at Golf Tech is I wasn't selling nothing. I was just teaching golf. I didn't care about the rest of that other crap. I let them worry about it. And, I walked in the bay. Every lesson was an important lesson. And if it wasn't the most important lesson, then I wasn't doing it right. And the person right there, that was my dad, my mom, my brother, my sister, my grandma, my whatever. And that's the only thing that matters. So it's not a job. It's a passion. And it's a well appreciated, luxury to be able to do this. And I love it. And so I want y'all to come down and get a taste of that, get a taste of the golf pub. And we got lots of fun stuff coming down the road, but the lesson sale is here. So I know, with the go on the websites, all the information, 50% off valuation lessons, 40% off lesson packages, 478-230-3324. Best way to reach me. Leave me a message. If I'm teaching, I can't answer the phone, folks. So leave me a message. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Twitter at P45KDG, www.p45knuckledowngolf.com, p45knuckledowngolf@gmail.com. You know all the things. So anyhow, so hopefully, y'all got a little bit out of that. And, if you all leave me some comments, I'll be glad to talk about whatever you want, but you got to give me some direction here if you want something specific. So for now, rainy day. If y'all want to head to the pub, all you got to do is give me a message. Let's head up there. We'll get you started today. I can find time this afternoon if I need to. Let's do this. But for now, Ryan Carpenter, P45, Knuckle Down Golf, no BS golf. We'll catch you later, folks.